Here we go. Taping my very first video. Created a new channel in YouTube just to express my views, my opinions, and what I see going on today in America. Very frustrated. A lot of people are not taking action. They're not getting involved. They're demanding, we need this, we need that, but nobody is stepping up to the plate to batter up. Number one is the delusion of how America, how the United States is getting diluted, the quality of the lifestyle, the culture, the traditions, the laws, the rights of this great nation. I am an immigrant myself. I lived in this great nation for the past 36 years. I came here as a teenager. I became an American citizen, and I am very proud to be an American citizen. But as time has gone by, I see that we're becoming less of America, less of the USA, and more of all kinds of stuff. Some obviously good, but some bad. And I don't like it. I don't like that at all. To make matters simple, politicians in this nation are just as bad as politicians in South America, south of the border. They're dirty. They promise anything they want to get votes. They are moving people, sponsoring people to invade our nation. Before we had immigrants, even illegal immigrants, I understand that's a given. That will happen no matter what, everywhere in the world. But 10, 20, 300 coming across the border illegally, I get it. But when we have 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, and then it becomes millions and more millions, then we have a serious problem. It's no longer illegal immigration or legal immigration, is an invasion. This invasion is causing things like what we have in Virginia, California, New York, Detroit, Chicago, Miami, with an overwhelming amount of people. They do not understand how great this nation is. They don't understand the rights that we acquire as citizens when we're born, people that are born here, or people that become legal, um, naturalized citizens like me. And we are endowed with these rights, and we're very fortunate. But they don't understand, and they get manipulated to support people such as the Democratic Party and the Liberal Party and so on and so on, since they are naive and do not know exactly what's going on. Um, Politicians are all for themselves. They just want to be very wealthy. I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi on $174,000 a year salary. She has a wealth of over $200 million. How do you do that? How? In South America, the politicians have done the same. And how they acquire that wealth is by, first of all, changing the constitution many times over so it works with their agenda. The major changes we have seen in Venezuela and Ecuador, where I am originally from, is they took away um, gun rights. They took away the right to purchase and possess a firearm for self-defense. So they created a chaos where everybody's too busy watching behind their back. They're too busy worrying about security and safety, worrying that they cannot go away on vacation without leaving somebody watching the house because people are watching. They're waiting for people to go away so they can invade their home. And I mean, they'll take everything, not just their possessions, but they'll steal the toilets, the faucet, I mean, the light fixtures. I mean, they'll steal everything. So when you come home, the only thing you find is a structure. So this happens all the time. But it all started by losing gun rights, losing the right to possess a firearm for self-defense. Before this happened in Ecuador in 2007, the crime was very small and was under control, and people respected the police, people respected the military, and there was law and order. a new socialist president came around, Rafael Correa, and he started spending money like a drunken sailor because oil was at $142 a barrel, so he could spend money left and right. But like Margaret Thatcher said, it ends when somebody else's money runs out, and that's what happened. Money ran out. While on the first 2 years of the honeymoon, he convinced the nation, he convinced 30 million people. This is a very small country. Convinced everyone to basically follow his lead and approve everything he said. So people say, okay, things are good. We're seeing new airports, new roads, new things here. This guy is fantastic. So let's do whatever he says because he knows what he's doing. Which later on we learned it was a total fiasco. So he proposed get rid of the Congress. We're gonna create the assembly, which is a whole different system of rules and different system of laws that he also created. And at the same time, he asked people, we don't need guns. We're going to protect you. The government's going to take care of you. Guns are bad. So let's get rid of all the guns, 100%, even security guards. Metropolitan police officers lost their guns. My brother was a metropolitan police officer. He quit because he no longer had a firearm to protect himself while on duty. So only the National Police Force and the military kept their firearms. And as you know, the criminals. And the criminals did not have just a 22 caliber or 9 millimeter. They had Uzis. They had, AR-15s, AK-47s, Galils, full automatic, full auto. They had C4 explosives. So right after this happened, within 3 months of this happening, bank robberies became the norm of the day. Beautiful, large, 10-story, 20-story bank with, all the facilities, very large banks will get robbed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. The same bank will get robbed so many times. You were sitting at a cafe, like a good friend of mine was sitting at a cafe having a coffee. A guy came from behind and said, give me your phone. My friend reacted the wrong way. The guy thought he was going for his gun. So I killed my friend. My friend lay dead there. Bye, gone. And multiply this by millions, 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 millions of times because there was no guns. So when anybody asks me why do I believe in the Second Amendment so much, it's because of that. Because I seen what happens when the guns are gone away. I have relatives of mine kidnapped. They had regular kidnappings and express kidnappings. If you don't want to wait for a long day kidnapping, you could get express kidnapping where they will kidnap you for the day only, call your relatives, send us so much money and we'll release them and they will negotiate. They start at $20,000, then down to $5,000, then down. It's all I got. I can give you $1,000. Let the freaking guy go. And so happened. Many instances, for example, there was people that have come from Venezuela and Colombia and do the same thing, but they will actually um, kidnap children of wealthy families, and they will mail their or have somebody a messenger drop off a finger, and then the next day another finger until they pay out. At the same time, narco traffic has increased tremendously, where the amount of not just cocaine, but the amount of money laundering, it has gone overboard, millions and millions, and everybody's getting caught with money in their hands. The police can do so much, but 10% gets caught, 90% gets goes by and nobody catches it. And then lateral influence for the cartel of Sinaloa in Mexico, paying up police, buying police officers, buying military to not to look that way and let the smugglers take this poison out of South America to obviously to Mexico and then cross the border into the United States. So that's what happened between the year 2008 through 2016 when this guy finally ended his term in 2017. But the damage is there. He blew apparently about $300 billion that was produced by oil. He increased the government by 600%, and now he cannot afford. My computer's shutting down here automatically. He cannot afford to pay for those people, so what they're doing is start borrowing money from China, billions and billions. And China finally say, you know what? We're not letting you borrow any more money. Your credit is maxed out. So what to do now? What to do now is start shrinking the government. They have a new president, which was the vice president of the previous crook. The guy before was a socialist. Now we have a socialist light, which is a guy that's totally lost. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Anyway, to make the story short, the country is in bad shape. They owe gazillions to China. They owe gazillions to the FMI, to the IMF, actually, what it's called, the World Bank. And there's no jobs. Unemployment is about 55%. There's about, I believe, if I'm correct, there's about 1.2, 1.3 million people that have come from Venezuela to Ecuador, and crime is, it happens so many times a day. It's crazy, and nobody can defend themselves. And then what the previous guy also did is he passed a law with the human rights, so you cannot shoot a criminal. If you shoot a criminal in self-defense, I mean, some people hid their guns, still had guns in their homes, and they have killed criminals, and they have gone to jail. Police officers have killed criminals in self-defense. Police officers are in jail. And this is a similar trend going here in the United States. Everything is exactly the same. I told many people what I see there. I was telling people about 6, 7 years ago. Is exactly what's happening here. We're just a couple years behind, but everything, the laws, the ways they're changing, everything that at that time Obama was doing is exactly what Rafael had done already 2 years in advance, and everything started going, following the same path. Anyway, make story short, once again, is we need to stay strong on our Constitution. We need to stay strong on our rights. What's happening in Virginia is pure lunacy, pure tyrannical efforts by their governor. I wish the best to the people of Virginia, because if they go down, we all go down. It's going to be the trend. We already have California, New York, New Jersey, and these other lunatic governments taking away right from the people. Like Chappelle says, it's good to have the Second Amendment in case the first one fails. But I'm a staunch believer of the Second Amendment, because I've seen tyranny with my own eyes. I've seen socialism. I've seen what happens. And by the way, the guy who left, Rafael Correa, he is living in Belgium. Apparently, they have calculated he stole an average about 2 to 3 billion with a B. $1 billion. He bought part of the Emirates Airlines. He lives a very wealthy lifestyle, just like Fidel Castro's children. His son Tony travels the world in a beautiful yacht. He never worked a day in his life. Or Hugo Chavez's daughter, who has a wealth of about $4 billion. She's like, what, 25 years old. She has never worked a day in her life. So it's not just gun control, it's control and then enriching themselves on the backs of hard work. And that's all it is. So we live in the greatest nation in the world. There's no better nation. I will never live anywhere else but the United States of America. I am a proud American, but I also want to share my message. When people talk about gun rights, it's no crazy talk, my friends. It is real. I've been on the other side of the mountain. I've seen it. My mother, my brother, my aunts live down there. They suffer misery every single day. They are told which hospital to go to, which doctor to go see, when to go see that doctor. They were even told how to cook their food. Oh, you cannot cook with propane gas. You gotta cook with electric because we created this new hydroelectric plant that's gonna generate blah 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 at cheap energy. Guess what? They spend billions and billions, but most of the money went in kickbacks to the politicians. And what they built is a plant that's sitting there built by Chinese companies, and it's falling apart. And out of the 6 or 7 they built, only 2 work. One is falling apart. It's about to implode, and the other 5 were never built. They just leveled the land, and that was it. In my whole hometown, they were going to build a new oil refinery, and they spent 1.5 billion dollars, and all you see is a gigantic parking lot, not even paved. There's roads around it, and that's it. Just so you know, to build a oil refinery, a medium-sized oil refinery, including everything. I mean, I'm talking turnkey. It costs $500 million. To build a large oil refinery, it ranges between 1 billion to 1.5 billion. This is turnkey. And what this guy did, all he did is level the land, and it's an empty lot. There's nothing in there, just dirt. So basically, he must have spent maybe what, $10 million on this plot of land, and then the rest, it was squandered. It's gone. 20 different people took a cut, and including the president. But all started with the guns being gone. There's no fear in a politician's mind or eyes when they know the people are disarmed. No guns, no freedom. I end with this. This is my very, very first video. I've been thinking about doing this for a long, long time, and finally had the guts to do it because I'm just overwhelmed by the looking at the ignorance of people, overwhelmed by looking at how people are being manipulated by the dirty media in this country. There's so much manipulation. We need to get the truth out there. We need to let people be involved, have knowledge, because knowledge is power. Let them know that we are just like Ronald Reagan said, we're just one generation away from just losing it all. Let's not let that happen. Let's teach our kids. Let's teach our friends. Let's share this message with everyone. Let's not lose our rights. God bless the United States of America. Thank you for listening.